Hey everyone, it's Mike, and this is day 14 of me starting this sort of journal. Uh, yeah, yesterday. Yesterday was an interesting day. I had a meeting with my wife and the separation mediator, and I just it was very heavy. It affected me very deeply because it makes it all very real. And I'm still resisting reality that way. I still have a vision and a hope that my wife and I can reconcile. But it would involve her participation, and I don't control that. I'm grateful for what the separation taught me up till now because it started me on a journey to reclaim my life and reclaim my sanity. But yesterday was interesting because after that I was like caught up in emotional flashbacks and I didn't know how to dissipate them. They just weren't dissipating. Um, but and I ended up relapsing last night, and I'm not carrying a deep shame about it, which is good. It's just a road stop on my road to recovery. And when I'd already collected 7 sober days previous to that, so I'm starting again because it's important to me, and it doesn't seem as important to use anymore. It's important to the work I'm doing on myself, which I believe is the chief work at hand. Gabor Mate says, "Ask not why the addiction, ask why the pain." And I'm dealing with that pain. And I remember getting off the Zoom call with the mediator, my wife, and I just wept and wept with grief and missing her. But it was clean. It wasn't bogged down with a ton of shame, and it processed much quicker than it has in the past, even a few months ago. So I know I'm making progress, and I'm going to claim that as a victory. In the meantime, I have a couple other victories too. I went out and sang yesterday. I'm sick today, so I wonder if I was a little too exposed, and all the crying just lowered my immunity. And regardless, I went out and I sang, and there's always some benefit I reap from doing it, not just in the action of singing, but in trying to connect with others, whether it's like I share eye contact with someone. It tells me I'm in the world, and the opportunity to actually connect with certain individuals who take the time to talk to me or take an interest in me, and it gives me a chance to take an interest in them and ask them about themselves and hold the space to hear their story. And that's my work at hand. That's something I wasn't really able to bring to my marriage. And now I know that I can, that it's the work at hand. And so the benefit of yesterday going out and singing, I made $20, so that's good. It's a pittance, but at the same time, I'm not there for the money. And the second reason was a professional photographer walked by with his son, and I caught his interest and he started taking pictures of me. In the end, while I was singing, and in the end, he said, "Hey, send me your email. I'll send you these pictures." And I looked at his website. It's quite good, so I'm really looking forward to these pictures that I may one day be able to use for some marketing. So that was kind of kismet, saved me a ton of cash, and it was me in my element. And I looked presentable. I had my hair gelled back. I was wearing a long sleeve shirt, collared shirt. And then the other thing was I met a gentleman. His name is Lewis. I won't mention his last name, but he stopped and he said that, well, first of all, he said, "You made my day," which is it's a real blessing to hear that. Not just that, "Hey, that was good," or "I liked that." He said, "I made a day," which is not the first time I heard that from my work. So it gives me a great sense of joy to know that I'm passing something along that makes a difference or an impact in someone else's life positively. And he said, he mentioned a singer, and I said, "No, I don't know him." He said, "You got that thing going on." Like, he was the lead singer for Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And the name had eluded me for a moment, but I grew up listening to one Blood, Sweat, and Tears album over and over and over again. And the lead singer is someone that inspired me and has been an influence on how I approach singing and riffing with timbre and tone. So he really perceived something in the way that I perform that I did integrate into my work from a real inspiration and a real influence in my life. So I felt, in a way, I felt seen, or at least perceived. We talked for a good 15 minutes. This guy is an author, authored 20 books, but he never quite broke through. But he said, I'll pass on some advice that I heard from a martial arts master. He said, write out a list of things that you want. You never call them the things that you need. And then live your life trying to get the things you need. Because often the things you want are simply your egoic desires. I know for myself, I need to sing and connect with music and connect with people. Because I felt lost yesterday after this meeting. So I'm very, so I have a lot of gratitude to the universe for bringing that richness into my life. And my cup is filling. So I know I'm trying to see things glass half full. And I'm still working on my LMA course. I'm kind of wrapping up week 2 and going into week 3, where we're coming out of reframing event so that we can have gratitude for what is the universe has unfolded for us, for our development and our evolution, and moving out of that into now trying to clarify what my future life goal is, and to start defining that, and stripping away what's not necessary. And anyway, that's the work at hand. So that was my day yesterday, and who knows what's going to happen today. I also have been taking cold showers the last 3 days running. It's getting easier to flip that switch and say, just do it, and recognize, yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable, and that's the whole point. Get out of my comfort zone. No growth ever comes from being comfortable. And it's a good metaphor for what I'm trying to do. Just sit with reality and stop the running, which has been my MO for discomfort and pain and unprocessed grief and trauma. So I'm numb. And I'm proud of myself for that. So there you go. Thanks, everybody. Take care.